Thank you, son. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 19th. This is the meeting of the Seattle City Council. Welcome. I'm Deborah Juarez. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Morales. Councilmember Mosqueda.
Present.
Councilmember Nelson.
Present.
Councilmember Peterson.
Present.
Councilmember Sawant.
Present.
Councilmember Strauss.
Present.
Councilmember Herbold.
Here.
Councilmember Lewis.
Present.
Council President Juarez.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Moving along the agenda, now that we've done the roll call, we will go to presentations. I'm aware there are no presentations today. Moving on to approval of the consent calendar. We will now consider the proposed consent calendar. Are there any items any council member would like to remove from today's consent calendar? Hearing and seeing none, I move to adopt the consent calendar. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. The consent calendar, it's been moved and seconded, and therefore, will the clerk please call the roll on the consent calendar?
Councilmember Morales. Councilmember Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant.
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss.
Yes.
Councilmember Herbold.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Council President Juarez.
Yes.
8 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The consent calendar is indeed adopted, and will the clerk please affix my signature to the consent calendar? What is it called? Just the legislation on the consent calendar. Moving on into our agenda and to approval of the agenda. If there's no objection, the agenda will be adopted. Hearing and seeing no objection, the agenda is indeed adopted. Let's move on to public comment. Let me make a few statements. And Madam Clerk, how many people do we have signed up?
We have 3. Excuse me.
3. Okay. So let me make these comments first, and then I'll hand it over to our clerk. Colleagues, at this time, we will open the remote public comment period for items on City Council agenda, introduction and referral calendar, and the Council's work program. My understanding is there are 5 matters on the Council agenda. It remains a strong intent of City Council to have remote public comment regularly included on meeting agendas. However, as a reminder, the City Council reserves the right to end or eliminate these public comment periods at any point in which we deem that the system is being abused or is no longer suitable to allow our meetings to be conducted efficiently and effectively. Currently, we have 3 speakers signed up to speak. Each speaker will have 2 minutes, and our city clerk will moderate the general public comment period. And I will now hand it off to Madam Clerk to read the instructions for the folks that have signed up. Madam Clerk?
The public comment period for this meeting is up to 20 minutes, and each speaker will be given 2 minutes to speak. Speakers are called upon in the order which they registered to provide public comment on the Council's website. Each speaker must call in from the phone number provided when registered and use the ID and passcode that was emailed upon confirmation. Please note this is different from the general meeting listen line ID listed on the agenda. If you did not receive an email confirmation, please check your spam or junk mail folders. Once a speaker's name is called, staff will unmute the appropriate microphone, and an automatic prompt of "you have been unmuted" will be the speaker's cue that it is their turn to speak, and then the speaker must press *6 to begin speaking. Please begin speaking by stating your name and the item which you are addressing. Speakers will hear a chime when 10 seconds are left of the allotted time. Once you hear the chime, we ask that you begin to wrap up your public comment. If speakers do not end their comments at the end of the allotted time provided, the speaker's microphone will be muted to allow us to call on the next speaker. Once you have completed your public comment, we ask that you please disconnect from the line. And if you plan to continue following this meeting, please do so via Seattle channel or the listening line options listed on the agenda. The public comment period is now open, and we will begin with the first speaker on the list. Please remember to press *6 after you hear the prompt of "you have been unmuted." Our first speaker is Howard Gale.
Good afternoon. Howard Gale with seattle.gov, commenting on our failed police accountability system. At yesterday's City Council briefing, Councilmember Lisa Herbold stated, quote, "I want to address one of the high-profile issues in the media related to the monitor," referencing the SPD data relating to race as reported by the federal court monitor last week. This raises the question as to which matters most to Councilmember Herbold. Issues raised in the media, which the council member or journalist deem high profile, or issues raised that very same week in a community meeting which noted a host of far more serious problems with both the monitor's report and the SPD data underlying it. Did the council member forget that the week before last, the Seattle Human Rights Commission voted overwhelmingly to pursue amicus status with the federal court in order to inform the court about problems with police accountability that the monitor and the city, including the council and the Community Police Commission, are either actively ignoring or keeping hidden from the court? Councilmember Herbold, as chair of the Public Safety Committee, you give much time repeatedly to discussing attracting officers to the SPD with money, yet you provide for no discussion whatsoever on creating accountability for officers and independently evaluating the failures of our supposed accountability system. Nearly 5 years ago, the Seattle City Auditor issued a report concerning the necessity of a fully independent audit of our police accountability system. Yet the Council and the Public Safety Committee in particular has consistently failed to address this issue. I encourage people to contact the Seattle Human Rights Commission and support them in their pursuit to uncover the failings of our accountability system and the stories of those harmed by both the police and by these failed systems. Before focusing on attracting more officers, let's figure out how to hold our current officers and future ones accountable. Thank you.
Our next speaker is David Haynes.
Thank you, David Haynes, District 7. Perhaps City Council shouldn't have redirected $70 million of American Rescue Plan money to George Floyd protesters hiding within nonprofits claiming expert at alternative policing, community safety, and equitable development. Then Council wouldn't have to over-dramatize the struggles of homeless investments that can't finance 40 tiny houses in a village run by same corrupt nonprofit donors trading election support for never being investigated. Secondly, City Council is still making a huge mistake with public safety, continuing to exempt low-level drug pushers from jail who are conducting an uncivil war with less than 3.5 grams per transaction, while allowing propaganda misleading data from an unqualified police chief who's taking credit for federal agency efforts to stop high-dollar drug pushers. Getting one big fish that's a piranha while leaving smaller schools of piranha doesn't make it safe or less dangerous. Local city and county chiefs are refusing to train cops who they're hiring and that they already have to go after low-level drug pushers. They're claiming that they're exempted from jail due to corrupt, unconstitutional police reform that the mayor, the council, the chief, and the prosecutor's office signed off on. We cannot survive the local neighborhoods when 20 evil, predatory drug pushers reclaim my neighborhood every night, victimizing, predatorily spit spraying and bothering people along with all the junkie thieves. We need a multitude of paths for criminals to go into improved jail punishment, for behavioral crisis and addictions to be in low security, separated from community efforts to deal with their problems instead of dumping it all on the rest of us, justifying a boycott of Seattle because you're...
Our next speaker is not present.
Okay, so we have gone through, we had 3 speakers signed up, 2 of them spoke, 1 is not present. So at this point, we have reached the end of our speakers and I will close public comment. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to committee reports. My understanding is that we have 5 items on today's agenda. I have 1, Councilmember Morales has items 2, 3, and 4, and Councilmember Peterson has item number 5. Let's start with item number 1. Will the clerk please read the short title of item number 1 into the record?
Agenda item 1, Council Bill 120-298, relating to the city employment, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Seattle and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 77 Signal Electricians.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move to pass Council Bill 120298. Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Great, that was kind of a weak second, but thank you. So it has been moved and seconded, and as sponsor, I will address the bill first and then open the floor to comments. I did mention this ordinance yesterday, or this council bill yesterday. Let me go through my formal comments. Council Bill 120298 authorizes the mayor to implement a memorandum of understanding between the City of Seattle and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 77 Signal Electricians. The MOU is an agreement on wages, benefits, hours, and other working conditions from January 23rd, 2021 to January 22nd, 2023. It affects approximately 25 regularly appointed city employees of the Seattle Department of Transportation. The MOU extends the collective bargaining agreement that expired on January 22nd, 2021. It includes some new provisions outlined in the material provided by central staff, which is attached to the agenda if indeed you want to go ahead and look at that. Are there any comments regarding Council Bill 120298? Okay, not seeing or hearing any, will the clerk please call the roll on the passage of the bill?
Councilmember Morales. Councilmember Mosqueda.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant.
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss.
Yes.
Councilmember Herbold.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Council President Juarez.
Aye.
8 in favor, Councilmember Morales.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The bill passes and the chair will sign it. Will the clerk please affix my signature to the legislation on my behalf? All right. Let's move to item number 2. And I'm hearing, it looks like we're going to hear from Councilor Morales a lot today. Will the clerk please read the short title of the item number 2 into the record?
For the Neighborhoods Education, Civil Rights, and Culture Committee, Agenda Item 2, Council Bill 120295 relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon La Quinta Apartments, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board. The committee recommends that the bill pass.
Thank you. Councilor Morales.
Thank you. I'm going to apologize to my colleagues. I'm having a lot of internet trouble. And I need just a minute to find my notes because everything seems to be messed up right now.
Okay, just hold up a minute. Madam Clerk, is there a way that we can come back to Councilmember Morales? She has items 2, 3, and 4, and maybe do Councilmember Peterson and then loop back, or does that require a whole change of something?
If there's no objection, you can ask. If there's no objection, we can proceed to item number 5 and then revert back to items 2 through 4 once we're ready.
Does that sound good, Councilmember Morales? Okay.
Thank you, colleagues.
Hey guys, do you guys mind if we skip 2, 3, and 4 and then do Councilmember Peterson and then come back to Councilmember Morales? Great. I hope you're ready, Councilmember Peterson. I know I put you on the spot. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 5 into the record?
The report of the Transportation and Seattle Public Utilities Committee, Agenda Item 5, Council Bill 120290, granting the Boeing Company permission to continue maintaining and operating 2 pedestrian tunnels. The committee recommends the bill pass.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, this Council Bill 120290 is simply the renewal of a term permit for existing pedestrian tunnels near Boeing Field. This Council Bill was unanimously recommended by our committee on April 5 and is here today for final adoption by the Council. Thank you.
Is nothing else you want to add?
I should have spoken slowly to give more time to my colleague.
You could tell a few jokes, but probably would. So with that, are there any questions or comments that we would like to ask Councilmember Peterson regarding Council Bill 120290? Okay, not seeing any comments or questions. Will the clerk please call the roll of the passage of the bill?
Councilmember Morales,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosqueda,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
I printed out stuff.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant,
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss,
Yes.
Last
Councilmember-
committee agenda printout. Oh, pardon.
Councilmember Herbold,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
and Council President Juarez.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you. So the bill passes and the chair will sign it. Will the clerk please affix my signature to the legislation on my behalf? And so this is why I rely on paper and not a computer. Yes, I'm old. I will admit it. So with that, hey, Councilmember Morales, are you back on deck?
This will be a very short presentation.
Okay, we got you. All right, so we already had the matter read into the record, correct? And then we
Correct.
handed, okay. So Councilmember Morales, go ahead and share with us, since you're the chair of this committee, item number 2.
Item number 2 is the appointment of Sophia Fang to the Arts Commission.
No, I think item number
Nope.
2 is La Quinta.
Oh dear, pardon me. Item number 2 is the landmarks presentation for the La Quinta
Apartments.
apartment project.
Is there anything else you want to share? And then we'll go to a vote.
The committee voted unanimously to approve the landmark preservation board status for the La Quinta apartments.
Thank you, Councilmember Morales. Are there any comments? There we go. Councilmember Herbold.
Thank you so much. And I want to first say I'm happy to have the opportunity to vote in favor of this nomination. And this may have been all discussed in the committee discussion. And my apologies if it's repetitive for those committee members, but I did want to provide a little additional background on this particular property. The tenants of this property, along with the original owner, actually organized to apply for this landmark designation, in part to protect their affordable homes. And last fall, when this building went up for sale, the tenants organized then in an attempt to gain time to explore purchasing that building. And their efforts attracted some media attention. My office reached out to the Office of Housing about this particular organizing effort because it seemed likely that the owner was not in compliance with the legal obligations under the notice of intent to sell legislation, which actually requires owners of affordable rental housing to notify the city's Office of Housing when the property is put up for sale. We did actually confirm that that was indeed the case. The Office of Housing did reach out to the owner and determine that the intent to sale provisions were in fact required. And eventually, under the Office of Housing's coaching, the owner did file the required paperwork, which then triggered a 30-day waiting period. The goal during that period of time is for tenants or other interested parties, such as affordable housing developers, to submit to the owners a letter of interest to buy the building. Unfortunately, that was not enough time for these tenants to make an offer on the property. And ultimately, the property and 2 adjacent properties were sold to a new owner. Although the landmark designation protects the exterior, including the roof, as well as the landscaping and pathways on the site, my hope is that this designation will somehow help the tenants in their continuing efforts to avoid eviction and displacement. And I think this particular example of what occurred with this building is a powerful motivator for the council exploring how we might work together to strengthen the notice of intent to sale provisions. I know that we'll be receiving a report from the Office of Housing and SDCI on that particular topic, thanks to a statement of legislative intent authored by Councilmember Mosqueda. But again, it's clear that the notice of intent provisions are not giving interested tenants enough opportunity. This is an example of definitely motivated tenants, and just it's, I think, a good object lesson for our policy development in the future. I just wanted to say so. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Herbold. Is there any other comments before we go on? Because it looks like we got a couple more historic preservation items. Okay, not seeing any. Councilmember Morales, is there anything you want to add before we go to a vote? You good? Okay. Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll on the passage of the bill?
Councilmember Morales,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosqueda,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant,
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbold,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Council President Juarez.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The bill passes. And will the clerk please affix my signature to the legislation? Moving on to item number 3. Will the clerk please read the short title, item number 3, into the record?
Agenda item 3, Council Bill 120296, relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon El Monterey, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board. The committee recommends the bill pass.
Thank you. Councilmember Morales.
Okay, so this is a second landmarks designation, and this relates to imposing controls on El Monterey, which is a landmark designated by the board. The El Monterey was built in 1930. It's a property located in the University District neighborhood, and a controls and incentives agreement has been signed by the owner and has been approved by the Landmarks Preservation Board. And the committee voted unanimously to support this designation.
Thank you. Are there any comments for Councilmember Morales? Councilmember Lewis, I'm sorry, Councilmember Peterson. Can't hear you.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Councilmember Morales, for shepherding this and the next project through your committee. Both of them are in District 4. I support these designations. There's a lot of change going on in the University District. That change is exciting. We've got the light rail station that opened up at Brooklyn Avenue, and so having these historic landmark buildings mixed in with the newer buildings to create that diversity in building type is welcome. So thank you very much.
All right, so are there any other comments or concerns? Not seeing any. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on the passage of the bill?
Councilmember Morales,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosqueda,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant,
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbold,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Council President Juarez.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you. The bill passes and the chair will sign it. And Madam Clerk, please affix my signature to the legislation. Moving to item number 4, will the clerk please read the short title of the item into the record?
Agenda item 4, Council Bill 120297, relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the University National Bank, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board. The committee recommends the bill pass.
Councilmember Morales.
Thank you. The University National Bank was built in 1913. The property is located in the University District neighborhood. Controls and incentives agreement has been signed by the owner and approved by the Landmarks Preservation Board. And the committee recommends passage of this.
Thank you, Councilmember Morales. Is there any comments? Not seeing any from your colleagues. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Morales,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosqueda,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Sawant,
Yes.
Councilmember Strauss,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbold,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Council President Juarez.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The bill passes. The chair will sign it. And Madam Clerk, please affix my signature to the legislation on my behalf. Moving on, we've already did item number 5. And let's see, next on the agenda is adoption of other resolutions, not seeing any. Councilor Morales, I wanted to remind you, I know that you talked about the appointment of Sophie Fang to the Seattle Arts Commission. That was in the consent package. Okay, you knew that. Okay,
Got it. Thank you very much.
okay, good. I was scrambling for a minute to pull it up. I thought I had missed that. Okay, great. Not seeing any other business. Not gonna adjourn yet. Wait. Oh, okay, Councilor Mosqueda. I'll go after you.
Thank you, Madam President. Just being proactive here as I'm looking at my calendar, I would like to ask to be excused from full council on Tuesday, June 7th.
Wow, getting that in early.
Got a plan.
Councilmember Mosqueda has asked to be excused from council meeting on Tuesday, June 7th. Is there any objection? Not seeing any. You are indeed excused. Councilmember Sawant.
Thank you, President Juarez. I would like to be excused on Tuesday, April 26th.
Next week.
Yes.
Okay. So Councilmember Sawant would like to be excused. Is there any objection to her being excused next Tuesday, the 26th? Not seeing any. Councilmember Sawant is indeed excused. And now I'm going to move to excuse myself. I would like to be excused on Tuesday, May 3rd and Tuesday, May 10th. Are there any objections? Not seeing any. I will, okay. All right, I see how it is. I will excuse myself. I won't comment on Council Mosqueda's face making. So with that, I want to remind everyone, Councilmember Lewis, you will indeed serve as pro tem on those 2 days. So just giving you a heads up now. All right.
Thank you for the reminder. Thank you.
Okay, good. And I will hand off my crown and scepter to your office later on this afternoon. So colleagues, that concludes, I will adjourn. And now that concludes our items of business for the day, and I will see you all next Monday and next Tuesday. Have a good afternoon. Bye.